Greetings and welcome to the 2021 Northern New Jersey Region President's Installation. Hi, I'm Rob Blitzer, the current president, at least for the moment, and I thank you for tuning in this evening. A year ago at this time, thick into the pandemic, the region put together a Zoom installation to recognize club and regional leaders. With a preponderance of caution and with much more experience in video production, we again bring you this year's installation virtually. Hopefully, many more clubs are attending this event to witness the changing of the guard, as well as save some money not having to travel to Springfield. We've put together a great installation, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the program. And in the end, in typical FJMC tradition, let's all have a l'chaim. Please rise for the national anthems.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Kol od balevav penima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefate mizrach kadima ayin letzion Sophia Ola veda tikvatenu hatikva bat shnot alpayim liotam chovshi be'aretzenu eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim liotam chovshi be'aretzenu eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim.
Hello, Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs. My name is Rabbi Adrian Rubin, and I am at Temple Beth Am Yisrael in Springfield, New Jersey. I am delighted to provide you a Divar Torah on the occasion of your installation of new officers. I was thinking, what is it that makes an organization successful? Is it a well-defined organizational structure? Is it a clear mission? How about a strategic plan? Or is it the people who are involved in it? I believe that when people know that they matter, when their voices are heard, when people have the opportunity to give of themselves, they naturally develop an affinity with the organization that facilitates this. They naturally form and develop stronger relationships with one another. And then something magical happens. The organization morphs into a community. Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs serve more than 250 affiliated organizations and 25,000 men across the globe. I don't know about you, but to me, that's a pretty big number. And that's a lot of people to get to know. Anthropologists have long debated how large a group has to be for it to cease being a group in which people can get to know one another. Some say after 150, it's too many people, and some say after 300. Either way, that's far fewer people than are involved in Jewish men's clubs. So, how do we create community among such a large group? Well, you already know. We split it into smaller organizations while still maintaining the connection to the larger organization. It is no surprise that our Torah gives us an example of how to do this. In this week's Torah portion, we read not only about Pinchas, the zealot for whom the Parsha is named, but we also have another census, this time of the descendants of the original Israelites who left Egypt. These descendants are the men who will cross the Jordan and who will inherit a portion of the land of Israel. This Israelite community is a very big group of people, even bigger than Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs. It is 601,730 men. With a group of that size, it is virtually impossible to know everyone. Our Torah details how many men there are over the age of 20 and does this from each tribe and each clan. It also lists the leaders of these organizations. Each person is important. Each family is important. Each clan, each tribe is important. And when each of them has value, the whole community can move forward together. Our Torah also teaches us how to ensure these groups play well together. The text tells us that the land is apportioned by lot according to the size of the tribe and clan. In other words, they don't need to fight over territory. Their objectives are not in conflict with each other. They are able to peacefully coexist with one another and work together in pursuit of the greater good, the good of the entire Israelite community, not just their own. What does this mean for us? We need to remember that we are each part of a greater whole. Each men's club is part of a synagogue and part of the Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs. We can help them understand how they fit into these communities, what they bring to them, and what they receive from being a part of them. When we ensure that our goals are in concert with one another, we are all successful. As we celebrate the installation of new officers, my hope is that every men's club member will revel in their commitment to creating and maintaining this special community. May our Northern New Jersey leadership team support one another to be successful in their lives and in leading this region with kavanah, with intention. May the leaders of the local men's clubs that these people serve build camaraderie and bring ideas and connections to their members. May the men they serve thrive in their participation in men's club and their synagogue communities. And may they bring the vitality of Jewish observance and brotherhood to their synagogues, their local communities, and the world around them. Ken Yehi Ratzo, may it be so, and Mazal Tov to all who are being installed as officers, and Toda Rabbah to all who have completed their terms of service. My best wishes to you all.
Hi, everybody. I'm Alan Budman, and I'm honored to be a part of the Northern New Jersey region's installation of regional and club officers. I bring you greetings from Alan Cahan, the new president of the Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs. The Northern New Jersey region is one of the best regions in FJMC and one that sets the bar for other regions to emulate. The FJMC is the largest Jewish men's organization in the world, with over 200 clubs in 9 countries around the world. We are proud of our legacy, but even prouder still of what we have planned for the future, including more service and training for our clubs, our plan to attract more clubs and individual members from all traditions of Judaism, and our inclusion committee to make our shuls and clubs more welcoming to underserved communities such as the physically and mentally disabled, Jews of color, LGBTQIA, and single dads. I want to thank Rob Blitzer, his team, and the club leaders for the fantastic job they did over the last 2 years under very difficult circumstances. They faced the crisis of the pandemic, then the tragic loss of Matt, but still exemplified the highest ideals of FJMC: leadership, innovation, and community. Rob always makes sure that everyone he works with feels that they are valued, respected, and appreciated. Rob now joins a long line of tremendous past regional presidents, too numerous to list. David Glass stepped up to become your next president, and you made a great choice. David has been the chair of FJMC's Skills and Talents Committee, sort of the FJMC employment agency, and has done a phenomenal job. With his help, we were able to place qualified volunteers in over 100 positions to help the FJMC function. The Northern New Jersey region has so much to offer, from your Man of the Year dinner, which is second to none, to the President's Dinner, to the attention paid to each club. Every club president finishing their term tonight knows, and every incoming president will soon learn, that the regional leadership is here to help your club grow and succeed. You're not alone in this. Please don't hesitate to turn to the Roche of your area for help and support, and FJMC is there to help you too. Thank you again for giving me the chance to share this wonderful evening with you, and I wish everyone good health and happiness. Leila Tov.
Hi, Rob Blitzer again, and I'd like to take a look back on the last year of my presidency for a few moments before we uninstall and install the outgoing and incoming club presidents and regional officers. For the FJMC convention, I put together a slide which kind of sums it all up. I'd like to share that with you now. 2019 through 2021 was dominated by COVID and left the region to find a new normal, which we did. We started by holding every board meeting virtually. Then we pivoted to have an interactive virtual president celebration in July, during which the region became adroit at producing content and making virtual events the new norm. The coup d'etat was planning and putting on the Northern New Jersey region Man of the Year, Youth of the Year celebration last December. That event became the gold standard for all regional virtual celebrations. Northern New Jersey region kept with tradition and joined our bordering regions for the biennial multi-region retreat this past October. And looking back pre-COVID, the region has fond memories of the FJMC International Convention in Toronto and was happy to inaugurate the ICC, the International Cannabis Club, which raised funds for the FJMC. We were high on it becoming more successful, but the buzz was short-lived. All in all, NNJR had a successful year. We were agile and able to adapt to the new normal of virtual reality. But sadly, like everywhere else, we too were victims of hardships this year. Several clubs told me how they were not able to get activities going with the shutdown and restrictions. Let's hope those clubs will come back Jersey strong in the coming year under the leadership of our new dedicated president, David Glass. Kudos to David for stepping up a couple years earlier than anticipated to take on the important role of regional president, as my expected successor, Matt Bonus of blessed memory, sadly passed unexpectedly the first night of Pesach. Then Matt's wife passed 49 days later, which is the holiday of Shavuot. Holidays were always significant to the Bonus household, but unfortunately these holidays will take on different meaning to the Bonus boys, Elliot and Tyler. Matt was my NNJR confidant and collaborator, and these past few months have not been the same without him. He was a tremendous individual, and we will toast him at the end of the installation.
Good evening, Erev Tov. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Elliot Brown, and until tonight, I was the honorary president of the Northern New Jersey region of the Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs. You see, the honorary president is the immediate past president of the region. And as of this evening, Rob Blitzer is taking on that role. That makes me the past president, or just another run-of-the-mill past president of the region. But enough about me. Why I'm really here is to talk about a group of gentlemen who went above and beyond serving as club presidents during the most difficult and challenging year we've ever faced. These gentlemen maintained club programming, club integrity, and really were able to pivot and deal with a very, very challenging situation. I would like to offer them a huge yasher koach on behalf of the region, and I hope that this is not the end of their involvement, but instead a transition, bringing the experience that they had as club presidents to help benefit the region and the FJMC as a whole. These are the gentlemen who are being deinstalled as club presidents. From Temple Emmanuel in Closter, Harris Miller. From the Fairlawn Jewish Center, Congregation B'nai Israel in Fairlawn, Bob Sokol. Temple Beth Shalom in Livingston, Barry Schwartz. From the Brandeis Men's Club, Temple Israel in Ridgewood, Scott Baslaw. From Shomrei Torah, Wayne Conservative Congregation in Wayne, and fellow former regional president, Eric Weiss. From Congregation Neve Shalom in Metuchen, Lawrence Dumbrow. From Milburn, Congregation B'nai Israel, Alex Marcus and Jonathan Shore. From Temple Beth Am Yisrael in Springfield, our incoming regional president, David Glass. My good friend from my home club, Oheb Shalom, Marlboro Jewish Center in Marlboro, Alan Greenberg. Congregation B'nai Tikva in North Brunswick, Craig Cohen and Josh Oliver. And from Toms River, Congregation B'nai Israel, Al Baxter. Again, gentlemen, Toda Rabah, thank you so much, Yasher Koach, and B'hatzlacha, only good things and great success to each and every one of you.
Hi, I am Harvey Hershkowitz. It is my honor to present the continuing presidents of the men's clubs for the coming year. They are Seth Arbital, Aberdeen, Matt Bergman, Bridgewater, Jonathan Mell, Caldwell, Michael Goldstein, Clark, Lance Candle and Craig Schwartz, Cranford, Howard Jacobs and Steve Harkavy, East Brunswick, Mike Livstone, East Windsor, Spencer Brooks, Highland Park, Jay Thaler, Montville, Greg Taffet, Ocean, Ed Mendelwitz, Old Bridge, Jonathan Jaffe, Scotch Plains, Mark Hilton, Somerset, Scott Horowitz, South Orange, Joel Brimmer, Staten Island, Gary Silver, West Orange. I want to thank them all for their great efforts during this past year of the extenuating circumstances with the COVID environment. I wish them mazel tov and hope they have continued success in the new year, and hopefully it'll be a normal year. Thank you.
On behalf of the Northern New Jersey Region of Men's Clubs, it is my honor to install the following men as the new presidents of their respective men's club. From Fairlawn, Joe Shakonik. From Ridgewood, Evan Fleischman. From Milburn, David Tuger. From Milburn, Craig Rothman. From Metuchen, Dave Hirsch. From my own club, Marlboro, Jay Silber. From Livingston, Christopher Block. From Toms River, Michael Perks. From Wayne, Steve Gasworth and Zev Fried. From Gloucester, Bruce Pomerantz. From Springfield, Elliot Merkin and Glenn Wall. And from New Brunswick, Mark Rosen. We in the region wish you a successful year as your club's leader. Remember, this region is here to help you to achieve that success. Have yourself a good evening.
This is Jeff Schulman. I'm a past president of the Northern New Jersey region. It is my honor to discharge the trustees and officers of the previous year's board. The trustees, you have all done great work over the past year, getting things set in a time of COVID, making the pivoting and making changes that needed to be made, keeping in touch with our clubs, keeping everything moving. And for that, I wish you all a hearty Yasher Koach. The trustees, the retiring trustees are Joel Brimmer, Steve Harkavy, Bob Held, Howard Jacobs, Jerry Siskind, Steve Katz, Scott Horowitz, Rich Nebb, Marty Schenker, Andy Simon, and our rabbinic advisor, Rabbi Jake Kornsgold. It is my honor and it is my privilege to discharge you as trustees. Don't go anywhere. I'm sure most of you will be back in a new role. It is also my honor and my privilege to discharge the officers of this past year. It is bittersweet as the first name on the list is our dear friend Matt Bonas, Zichrono Livracha. Each of you have done an amazing job. You have kept our region going, supporting our initiatives, supporting the FJMC, and bringing as many people as possible to our recently completed and extraordinarily successful FJMC Taste of Convention virtual convention. It is my honor to discharge the officers. Executive Vice President Matt Bonas, Zichrono Livracha. Vice Presidents Dennis Vogel, Len Whitman, David Glass, Larry Cleos, Treasurer David Julis, Financial Secretary Ari Campbell, Recording Secretary Mike Keats, and our Honorary President Elliot Brown. It is my honor and my responsibility to discharge you from your current roles. Mazel tov, a hearty Yasher Koach, and again, I wish you all the best. Don't go anywhere. Most of you, if not all of you, will be starting new roles. Todah.
Good evening. It was just about a year ago that I Zoomed before this gathering, having the privilege to install Rob as our region president. I know that he will go through the litany of our region's accomplishments in his words, but as someone who has actively participated in many of our regional events over the past year, let me congratulate Rob on keeping things together for all of us as we learned to navigate this new world we all jointly share. Some of these activities were directly implemented by you, some not. But as Harry Truman used to say, the buck stops here. You have been our president, and you get the credit for the successes as well as the blame for the problems. Fortunately, as a regional board, we greatly avoided the problems. We had productive board meetings on Zoom. Meeting regularly, your board actively attended and discussed the pressing issues of our region. We continued our pre-Shabbos schmoozes, which helped keep us in good spirits. From last year's installation through the Man of the Year events, region training and meetings, active involvement and participation in the recent FJMC convention, concluding with this evening's event, you took the helm and guided your team in achieving successes. We are an FJMC quality region, and we thank you for your leadership and guidance. Rob, it is my pleasure and privilege to officially discharge you as president of the Northern New Jersey region of the Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs, and to welcome you to the rank of past president of our region with all of the rights, privileges, and obligations thereto. I am virtually presenting you with this past president's pin and look forward to directly presenting it to you in the near future. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Eric Weiss. I'm a regional past president, and I'm here to do some installing. That's what I was told to do, so let's get to it. First, I'll change my hat. I'm wearing my NNJR regional kippah with our colors. Maybe you can see them, NNJR, black and silver. It's my pleasure tonight to welcome and install our new regional spiritual advisor, Rabbi Adrian Rubin from Temple Beth Am Yisrael in Springfield. Rabbi Adrian, we're very happy to have you on board. You're the second woman to lead our group. Rabbi Ellen Wolins Fields preceded you. She has now become the executive director of the Women's League of Conservative Judaism. So that might give you an idea about some greater opportunities in FJMC. I'm only saying. My next job is to install our trustees. So tonight I'm kind of doing a Snow White and the 9 helpers thing. First of all, I'd like to welcome and install Brian Frisch of the Fair Lawn Jewish Center. Brian, you and I are certainly no strangers. I feel welcome in Fair Lawn, and I know you'll feel welcome on our board as well. Hope to see you one of these days. Steve Harkavy from East Brunswick Jewish Center. Steve, you're part of a synagogue that has a great history in NNJR, and we look forward to having you on the board, continuing along with Dave Mandel, Dave Julis, and I'm sure there's another David in there somewhere else too. Bob Held, East Windsor, Bethel, also known as Rabbi Jay's Shul. Bob, we're happy to have you on the board, and you are installed. Scotty Horowitz, Bethel South Orange. Scotty, you know, you're one of the village people guys, and now you're in our group. And we're really looking forward to having you, and I'd like to see you at Grunnings one of these days if we can use the time machine and turn the clock back. Howard Jacobs, East Brunswick Jewish Center. Well, another East Brunswick Jewish Center guy on our trustees. It's fantastic. Howard, I'm really happy to have you on board again. David Millman from the Brandeis Men's Club of Temple Israel and Jewish Community Center in Ridgewood, New Jersey. Certainly the club with the longest name in all of the Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs. David, b'hatzlacha. Paul Pizer from Temple Beth Am Yisrael in Springfield. That name keeps coming up again. Paul is, I guess, one of David Glass's friends, another David. But Paul, great to have you on board. You are now a trustee for the coming 2 years. Or maybe it's 1 year. Marty Shanker, Congregation Agudath Israel in Caldwell, home of our Masim Tovim Award winner, Harvey Hershkowitz. Marty, happy to have you on board. Andy Simon, the 9th helper. Andy, you come from Shomrei Torah in Wayne. I have no clue who you are. Andy and I go back a long way, son of Lenny, son of Barbara, brother of Nancy, and IT guru extraordinaire. Gentlemen and Rabbi Adrian, Adrian, I'm happy and honored to install you on the board of the Northern New Jersey region of the Federation of Jewish Men's Clubs. May you go from strength to strength, and b'hatzlacha.
Hi, my name is Joel Kurtz, and I am pleased and honored to have the privilege to install the men who will be officers of the Northern New Jersey region for the next 2 years. David Julis from East Brunswick will be our Executive Vice President. Dennis Vogel from Ridgewood will be a Vice President and the Northern District Roche. Larry Cleos from Highland Park will be a Vice President and the Central District Roche. Len Whitman from Marlborough will be a Vice President and the Southern District Roche. Mike Keats from Bridgewater will be our Vice President of Communications. Ari Campbell from West Orange will be our Treasurer. Steve Katz from North Brunswick will be our Financial Secretary. Jerry Siskin from Livingston will be our recording secretary, and Rob Blitzer from the East Windsor Club has the most enviable position of all as our immediate past president. These are the leaders who I am sure will guide our region to continued great success and accomplishments. I wish them all a hearty Mazel Tov, Yasher Koach, and Behatzlacha.
Good evening. My name is Peter Gottlieb. I'm a past president of the Northern New Jersey region and a past president of my men's club at Temple Beth Shalom in Livingston. This evening, it is my great pleasure and honor to install David Glass as our next Northern New Jersey region president. Before I do so, let me just take a moment in memory of Matt Bonus. Matt was a great region leader and was to assume the presidency this month of the region. Unfortunately, we lost him too soon. To honor Matt's memory, we worked together with David to move the region forward in the manner that Matt was anticipating. David and Matt worked very well over the last several years to map out a path forward for us and for our clubs, in support of our clubs. And David, I have no doubt you will continue to move that forward. Now, about David. David is the kind of leader who's always there and always willing. David says hineni when people are looking for someone to take on a task. Hineni, not ani po, I am here, but hineni in the fullest sense of the word. His emotional, physical, and mental presence to make sure that things go well. He does not shy away from taking on leadership roles. When his country called on him, David said, hineni, and joined the Navy. When his synagogue called on him, David said, hineni, and rose to become president. When his men's club called upon him, David said, hineni, and became its president. David has taken on countless tasks in the region, including becoming chair of the Northern Man of the Year, Youth of the Year dinner, as well as countless other activities, along with eventually rising to become a vice president of the region, and now will be assuming the presidency. And he's done that for FJMC as well, various tasks that he's said yes to and done well at. This coming week, we read in the Torah, Parashat Pinchas. We meet Pinchas and find him, and the commentators support this, as a controversial but passionate leader. In David, we also have a leader with great passion to serve his family, his profession of teaching, his faith, his community, and fortunately, us in the region as well. David, Yasher Koach on all you've accomplished thus far, and may you go from strength to strength.
Friends, family, guests, and Northern New Jersey region members, welcome to this year's installation. Like most things in the last 18 months, we are not doing things as we have usually done. God willing, this will be the last virtual event that NNJR will be doing. As we come out of COVID quarantine and look forward, we have already put live in-person events and meetings on our calendar, and we're looking forward to meeting again in brotherhood. Unfortunately, my ascendancy to the presidency of NNJR was unexpected, and I never thought I'd be making this speech this year. I want to take a moment and remember our good friend Matt Bonus. Matt had been executive vice president of the region, and like so many others in the last 18 months, became a victim of this terrible plague, COVID. I know Matt was excited to become the next president of NNJR. We had been talking about it for a while and strategizing how he could bring new ideas and energy to the region. His loss was not only a big hole in our regional leadership, but a hole in our hearts as well. May Matt's name and memory always be a blessing for his family and his friends here at NNJR and beyond. Let us all say, Amen. When I attended FJMC Leadership Development Institute several years ago, I learned many things about FJMC and leadership. LDI really drives home the core mission of the FJMC. The goal or mission is to involve Jewish men in Jewish life by strengthening our clubs and the members of our clubs. How do we do this? First, we develop leaders on a club level. Just like I was mentored by the regional leadership of NNJR, we must continue to mentor and develop the leaders in all our clubs. We will be holding a regional leadership development institute for our club leaders and NNJR board members on Sunday, January 16th. Plans for this are already underway. One of our vice presidents, Dennis Vogel, is chairing this effort with some very capable help from some of our Northern New Jersey past presidents. I'm asking all of our club presidents, their board members, and our NNJR board members to mark their calendars for that date. More information will be forthcoming toward the end of the summer. Leadership. Leadership was first. Second was innovation. It's good to have a goal when thinking of how to develop innovative programming that will connect Jewish men to their Jewish community. We should consider two things when developing programming. How can we provide support and service to our communities? We can support our communities by setting fundraising goals for our clubs so the clubs can support their shuls financially. One or two good fundraisers a year can go a long way towards accomplishing that goal. My club has built fundraising in a few ways. We've taken advantage of the Regional Man of the Year dinners and solicited ads for our Men of the Year and Youth of the Year. Every ad placed on behalf of your club's Man of the Year or Youth of the Year kicks back 25% of the revenue to your club. Establishing an annual fundraiser like a comedy night also helps raise money. Once you establish this annually, people of your congregation begin to expect it annually and automatically subscribe every year. Take advantage of the FJMC Yellow Candle program. Taking advantage is also a good way to raise money. Start an annual scholarship for your community schools with the proceeds raised from the distribution of the candles. At LDI, we will hold a session on fundraising. It's not to be missed and will be help for yours and support for your club and your Jewish community. Leadership and innovation. And finally, the last part of the FJMC mission is community. As I reflect on my continuing FJMC journey, I think that the thing that drew me in first was the camaraderie. I found it in forming and renewing relationships with men I have known for many years based on our common interests and core values. I spoke earlier of Matt Bonus of blessed memory. I met Matt in USY more than 40 years ago. As life does, our paths went in different directions after high school. When I became involved in men's club, one of the people who I became reacquainted with was Matt. We immediately bonded over the shared experience and lessons of leadership and service to the community that we had learned in USY all those years ago. The best way to form or reform these relationships is by attending our biannual retreats and our biannual international convention, as well as our Man of the Year dinner that we have annually. The feeling of spirit at these events is hard to describe, but I can say the excitement and ruach that we all felt in USY or BBYO or some other Jewish youth program is reattainable if you're willing to take that first step and attend Man of the Year retreat and our FJMC International Convention. In June 2022, we will be holding our biannual Quad Regional Retreat on June 10th through 13th. Take that first step. I promise you there will be no regrets, and it will help you connect better to your own Jewish community when you return from it. Leadership, innovation, and community. These are the tenets of FJMC life. This will help you and help you connect other Jewish men to Jewish life in their communities and beyond. I'm honored to be installed today as president of the Northern New Jersey region of the FJMC, and I'm thankful that my peers have that confidence in me to move our region forward in the future. Thank you, and Laila Tov.
I offer this L'chaim Brothers in memory of our dear friend, colleague, and also a brother, Matt Bonus of blessed memories, Chrono Tova, and we say, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shahakol niyeh bidvaro, l'chaim tovim u'shalom. May Matt's memory be for a blessing, and may he enjoy this Lech Gan Eden, a bright and beautiful Garden of Eden. Amen.